You can't bottle yourself up away from everything that is real and then expect to feel something. You can't be in the cave forever. The other day, I made a tweet that I was thinking about just now, because one thing I'm gonna do is tell the motherfucking truth, okay? And I just was thinking to myself, like, yo, basically, I tweeted intellectualism will be a luxury in the future. Intellectualism will be a luxury in the future because we're seeing that the grading scale is lowering. We're seeing that these children aren't able to comprehend, to move forward, to remember, to care. We're seeing that there's a complete shift. And as a 90s baby, as a 90s grown woman, you know, I think it's important to state that growing up in the society that we grew up in, the things that we were told was knowledge is power. You know, I remember the way that I approached school is like, this is like your job. You have to do really good at it. And I was just like, okay. And I clocked in. I really fucking clocked in, especially around like 5th grade is whenever I feel like I was the most serious. From 5th to literally 12th grade, I clocked in. And I feel a bit, I don't know. I don't want to say worried because I don't want to put that in the atmosphere. Like, oh, I'm worried for the next generation, because I feel like this is something that happens. But at the same, this happens. Everybody that's older, when they see the next generation, they're like, But at the same time, low-key, they be right, because recipes be lost in the middle, right? Important factors of brain development are being lost in the middle. And what's a bit worrisome for me is the fact that the age gap is for some reason drastically different. Like, I was born in 99, but I feel like the people that were born in like 2004 or like 2003, it feels like a generation gap. Seriously, like dead eyes, it feels like a generation gap between, you know, mid 2000s babies and like end of the 90s babies. It's so different. And what's significant about it is the trend cycle is extremely started getting shorter and shorter as we got in the 2000s, let alone the 2010s and 2020s. And I also feel like exposure, based on how we were exposed to the environment and the connection to caretakers or adults that we had. This new generation, these 2010, 2020 kids, are having less of a connection with their parents and just adults in general, because they're being pacified by devices. Now, this is so fucking jokey, but like, just think of the word devices. Devices. The motherfucking vices, right? Whenever we think of vices, it's normally not a good thing. It's normally a guilty pleasure or something that, like, what's a vice? What's a vice? We're about to look up the definition of a vice right now. What does vice mean? Immoral or wicked behavior. Okay, let's look up the etymology of device. Etymology of device. Based on Latin, divis, divided, from the verb dividere. The original sense was desire or intention, found now only in leave someone to their own devices. Like desire or intention, I can see that. I feel like we should keep that in mind. Now it's about to get really fucking weird, but remember in The Matrix, right? And if you haven't seen that movie, just go see the movie, right? If you haven't seen that movie, I'm pretty sure it's on Pluto right now, because I was doing a rewatch. I was doing a rewatch of The Matrix, and I found it interesting because when Morpheus reveals the real world to Neo, and Morpheus is like, it's really the year 2199, and he's like, there was a war between robots and humans after AI developed in the 21st century. Not only are we talking about chronological accuracy, but we're talking about a war between AI and humans. And Morpheus says, we know that it was us, the humans, that scorched the sky. Let's let all that sink in. He also revealed to Neo that there are babies that are being born out of computers, right? That's what he reveals to Neo, that real humans are being born out of computers. And I feel like it's a metaphor right now, but it could be actual, who knows, right? But it's a metaphor for the fact that we have become over reliant on technology, that we look to it for emotional support and instruction and guidance the way that we do a real human. This doesn't even play into like social media. This is actually just on a basis of the way that AI has developed in the past few years, right? Okay, I think this was a tweet. Somebody has said, I wanted AI to do my chores for me so that I had more time to play and be creative, and instead it's playing and being creative for me so that I have more time to work. That is always going to sit with me, because the way that AI has developed is very strange, and people are relying on it to think for them. This is why I said intellectualism is going to be a luxury in the future, because if you're in a college classroom and you're allowing ChatGPT to think for you, that's also who you're giving the job. You know that one Dr. Umar video that your competition is on the phone? Your competition is on the phone. Your competition is the motherfucking phone. Your competition is that fucking bot. I say that to say, I think it's super important that we remember and don't forget the lost art of reading books, of thinking for ourselves without having someone do all the hard work for us, and having experiences in life instead of being in the cave forever. You can't be in the cave forever. You have to go out and fight some fucking bears and start a family or some shit. You can't bottle yourself up away from everything that is real and then expect to feel something. You're never going to. You have to. The fun thing about this human experience is that we get to experience pain because we've loved so much. And it's important for us to love as much as we hate. There's so much stuff. I hate this, I hate that. I can go on and on talking about the things that I hate. And I just realized, like, yo, I've never really sat down and said how much I love. One thing that I love beyond anything is the ability to be a sharp thinker. I love thinking about things. I love intellectualism. And like, whenever I was growing up, you got bullied if you were not smart. You got bullied if you were not intelligent. It was a hostile environment for the people who were having difficulty in learning. There used to be the society catered to the children, in that if there was a struggle that was happening, there was a teacher that was going to stay after hours to help you out. There was your uncle that was going to try to help you out. It was a group effort, and now it's like everyone is so concerned with everything else that they can't see that these kids really need attention, love, care. It's like they get negligence because they're hooked up to these devices. It's not even that they're having trouble thinking, it's that they don't know how to think anymore. As an intellectual, it's sad to see. With each coming generation, we have to remember the recipes, and I will forever hold on to the things that my mom shared with me, because she shared them from her childhood, whether it's Silver Spoons, The Facts of Life, The Jackson 5, Lola Falana, Shalimar, Diana Ross, Mahogany. I don't even think like these new generation of kids have the type of relationship with adults. It's like that development is really, really lacking in the connection between the parental figures with these kids growing up now. So these kids are essentially raising themselves through the internet. And I feel like if you were a 90s baby and a 2000s baby and even a late 80s baby, we were also raising ourselves through the internet, but with adults actually giving a fuck about us. Like, we weren't just ass out. We know how to develop, we know how to create. We created a world of ourselves, and we were raised in a society that actually cared about kids a little more. Now, so like, so many people are distracted with their jobs, so many people are distracted with social media or just busy work or just everything else, that the way that they become parents is extremely fucking different from the past generations, right? With that being said, it is significant for us to realize, like, hey, we can't lose every single recipe. We can't give all the recipes to ChatGPT. Like, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that the next generation and the generations coming up are going to be better than us, smarter, more free, and not captured in an even worse cycle. Yeah, because I don't know, it's just like an overall erasure of spaces for kids. You could be on the Oculus talking to a 40-year-old, or you can be on the Oculus talking to a 12-year-old. You can be on Roblox with a 27-year-old, or you can be on Roblox with a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old. It's just like, it was never like this before, because on the internet, whenever it was first being developed, there was specific places for kids, and now there's like an erasure of that as well. And for some reason, reason intelligence and smartness is being devalued. Granted, a lot of the shit in the school system is absolute bullshit, but it's like math, just a general understanding of science and a deep understanding of the English language so that you can open up the door to learning more about other languages and other cultures and like anthropology. That broadens the horizons of the way that you live life, and I think it's so important that every child experience that. We have to remember that there's a whole generation of kids that are being raised on ChatGPT, that is being raised when in the middle of social media not being in its heyday. Big business taking over, sponsorships taking over, and the lack of organic influencers. You know, a lot of people are paid to be in the position that they're in, and a lot of people also are not using their originality and are following the code of another person. Yeah, you know, definitely leave a comment. I don't know if I sound like a crazy person just ranting, but definitely leave a comment if you agree with me. Or if you don't agree, you know, I'll see you in the next video because there's always gonna be